Hey everyone, how you guys doing? And thank you for joining me on the Healing Legacy podcast. I am your host, Nicole. The podcast, which is generated in memory of my daughter, Tanaya's Precious Moment Foundation. We're gonna talk about it. So, I told you I would do a follow-up video. So, here is the podcast that we're gonna talk about. A lot of people likes to overeat to deal with the pain of losing a loved one. So, we're going to dive in. I want to get your thoughts about how do you cope with losing a loved one. The main topic is generally overeating, emotional eating, comfort food. Is it a mind thing or is it a comfort thing? I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. So, before I dive in, yes, I am sick, I am cold, and I am warm. Okay? So, please don't mind me. But with me to really not get over the death of losing my child, I have been known to use food. That can be candy, drinks, food, like all types of food. And as most of you guys know, April 24th, I believe, 2024, I had weight loss surgery. So a lot of you guys see me in my bigger state, and now I'm in my smaller state. But now I'm back to eating again, and it is a tough situation to even talk about. But I am open enough to explain it and say I'm not afraid to talk about it. My doctors, they know about it. The place I had surgery, I'll be talking to them soon. But for me, that is a comfort. My doctor told me it's a mind thing. It's not a mind thing. It has been a comfort for me since 2006. All I know how to do is just eat, 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 eat. I've tried other ways of not so much ignoring the part that she's not here, but the pain. I tried smoking cigarettes. That stopped probably back in 22 when they stopped making menthol cigarettes. Then it went to drinking. But it wasn't drinking heavily. It was drinking whenever I felt like drinking. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I am a lightweight, so I'm not about to drink a whole bottle to make myself feel good. No. I will drink a little bit in a cup and I'm good. It will go to depressed mode, in the anxiety, the stress, the moments of why am I still here kind of thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the comfort of food was my nourishment. And maybe that's why I needed the weight loss surgery, is because it was affecting my health. My BMI was high. I was excessively overweight. And it kind of took control of me. I can literally say food was my everything. It didn't matter what it was. As long as I was stuffing my mouth, food was my everything. So now it's like it's coming back. It's been back. It never left. It never went anywhere. Even when I had the weight loss surgery, I had to kind of, maneuver around it. But after a year in, it was gobble, gobble, gobble. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to get back to the state that I was in as being overweight. Like, I don't want to have this feeling that I did my surgery in vain. You know, one was, yes, part of, healing, another part, my health, and then too much weight I was carrying that causes me to have health problems. So that's my intake on it. Um, and people tell me, oh, it's a mind thing, it's a mind thing. No, it's not a mind thing for me, maybe for others, but it's not for me. And I want your input on it. What do you think overeating or emotional eating is for you after losing a child? Let's say you didn't just lose a child. Let's say you lost somebody you love. How do you cope with that? Do you turn to food? Is food your best friend when you're in stressful situations, when you remember what happened or the memories that flows, something. But before we dive into that, I want to show you guys a quick little video. Give me 1 second.
Definition of emotional eating. What exactly is it?
Well, we have all experienced emotional eating at one point or another. Basically, the technical definition is eating in order to escape, numb, change, or amplify our feelings. Research has indicated that about 75% of all of our eating is emotionally driven. We eat not because we're hungry, because we're bored, we're stressed, we're anxious. So think about that for a moment. 75% of our eating, that's a large number. So it's an incredibly important issue for us to think about and dive into. We're going to be talking about lots of different aspects of it today, from how to cope with it. But I'd love to start out with telling you a little bit about a story about emotional eating, to really highlight the way that emotion is so interwoven with the way that we eat and with food. So I'll start there. So when I was
So that video I just showed you a clip of is from YouTube. It's called Taking Control of Emotional Eating, Susan Albert's Psychology D. Okay? She goes on and on to talk about how to cope with it, how to deal with it, why do we use it, why do we, it's just all kind of good information. So I always ask myself, what is emotional eating? And what I put in, I believe I have put what is overeating. And it says, while some initial appetite changes are often normal when grieving, prolonged reliance on food or weight to cope can quickly lead to an eating disorder. That is part of grief. So again, I want to know what your intake is on how do you deal with losing a loved one? How do you deal with losing a child? Is that a trauma to you that you have to resort to eating? How much do you eat? Do you eat because you want to be full, or do you eat because that was something that you and your loved one established before they were taken away from you? Now, it says, is it normal to eat a lot when grieving? Their answer that they gave says it is very normal. to kind of disagree, my opinion, because it's not normal to eat a lot when you're grieving, because now you're inputting all kinds of stuff which we have already been doing for decades into our bodies to make us either more sicker or make our bodies not agree with certain foods. Okay, so for example, an egg roll can cause you to have a heart attack. That's not true. I'm just using that as an example, okay? But you see what I'm saying? So if you continuously eat that every day, your body is going to adapt to that, and it's going to say, this person is only eating egg rolls. Well, what do we know about egg rolls that can cause harm to your body? The fats that's in the egg roll, the grease, the oil. We already know it can clog your arteries. We already know it can cause you heart problems. I mean, we can go on and on and on. We know all of that. So you have to be careful with what you're inputting in your body. Don't let people tell you that it's a mind thing. You grieve the way you want to grieve. You feel the way you want to feel. You heal the way you want to heal, because you know. Like I said in my last podcast, can't nobody tell you how to walk in your size shoe. So if they never dealt with it, they can't sympathize with you. They can empathize with you, or they can empathize with you and can't sympathize with you. You know what I'm saying? So only people who knows the hurt that they've been through, as losing a child to violence, can relate. Now, some of y'all may not even watch 12 minutes of this video, and that's perfectly fine. That's fine, because somebody will fast forward, get to the good parts, which this is not that type of video. This is a learning experience. Start to heal. Start to turn your pain into purpose. See, that's why I have 2 different podcasts. One is talking about the serious effects that can have on you. Losing a child to senseless violence, any type of violence. And then the other one is, hey, let your hair down, we're going to have fun, because it's okay to laugh, it's okay to cry, it's okay to vent. That's what that one is. This one right here, we talk about real things. I talk to you about stuff that I have experienced. Am I top-notch in everything? No. Do I know everything? No. I go to Google just like everybody else do. I learn my research. I get my information from certain people. I get the information that I need in order for me to use it for myself and to relay it to you. But again, if you have never been in a situation, you won't understand what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm just keeping it 1,000. But what I can say is most people do overeat, and that's not only, do you hear me? Not only to losing a loved one. That's just their comfort, because they want to feel good. They have their own reasons to why they want to overeat or undereat, you know? So, when you lose a child to innocent violence or any type of violence, we already know that it is a profound, life-altering experience that any parent or any person can go through, okay? So, it does something to our minds. It has to do with the psychological, the cognitive, and it says the death of a child disrupts mental, cognitive, and emotional system at an extreme level. Shocking denial. Obsessive replaying, meaning the mind often engage in what if scenarios. What if I would have did this the different way? What if I would have said this? What if I would have kept her here or him here? What if I would have went out this way or this? What ifs. Our mind plays tricks on us. And it's not the point that it's playing a trick on you. It's just the chemical that's in your brain saying, what if you would have did this? Well, guess what? We cannot turn back time, unfortunately. Then you have the confusion and the fog. Then you have to identify the crisis. Us parents, we struggle with this role, wondering who we are as if they are no longer actively parenting for their children. Okay? Now, as far as a comfort thing, it has to deal with the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual need. Okay? And this one says, grief after a child loss is a deeply visceral physical pain that requires intense comfort and support. Physical pain. The emotional pain is often felt physically as a heartbreaking or a knife twisting in the chest. Yearning, need for validation, finding meaning. Now, need for validation, let me speak on that one real quick. Grieving parents often find comfort in having others remember their child, say their name, and share memories rather than avoiding the topic. Most people like to avoid this topic because they're not ready to talk about this topic. They're not comfortable yet. See, it's been 2006. I've kept it in for quite a while. Now I am able to talk about it and help my story share, or I take that back. My story can help somebody else. Like I told you, this podcast is not no cut, time out, let's rewind that. No, this is all real. This is all raw and authentic. There is mistakes. Oh well, you don't like it? Move on. But we all come to realize that you cannot cover up the wound for too long. The scab is going to come off. You're going to scratch it. You're going to reveal it. So you have to explain it. You have to talk it out. You have to do all that. Because guess what? You can also make yourself sick by keeping it inside. No, I'm not no psychiatrist. No, I'm not no therapist. No, I'm not a doctor. No, I don't have a whole bunch of information. But what I do know is this is what I went through. And if I would have kept it in, you would not see me right now. Seriously. Okay? So I tried to avoid this topic. Even when I was in college, I tried to avoid it with my therapist. She kept trying to pick at the wound. I kept covering up with the Band-Aid. I'm like, oh, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. We never talked about it. Ever. I gave her a little bit. And I told her this is what's bothering me. She always kept trying to open that cap, and I kept closing it back because I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. Stop trying to press people into talking about certain things that they do not want to talk about or they're not ready to talk about. Because when you do that, you push them away. You're not giving them the time or the space for them to heal. I hope you heard that, or did it go over your head? Now, the key takeaways on this grief is it is lifelong, meaning that 94% of parents carry their grief for the rest of their lives. I'm going to carry this until the day God calls me home. You may not carry it, but you probably will. It is not something you get over, but it's something you learn to live with. I've been living with this since 2006. I had the what ifs going through my mind. I had the haziness. I had the fogginess. I had the oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? I had and dealt with all of that. And still to this day, I still deal with that. Knowing that he is walking around and my daughter is 6 feet under. You hear me? He's out free, living his best life probably. And my daughter is 6 feet under. How do you think as a mother that makes me feel? It should have been me, not her. It should have been. You can't tell me not to say that. because that's what I feel. And it's not being selfish. Now, some people will say it is selfish because you have 5 other children and they wouldn't be here. But the way God designed it, I can't question it. I cannot question that. It is non-linear, meaning the pain does not follow a neat 5-step process. It comes in waves that can return years later on birthdays or holidays. Didn't we just discuss that? The memories, right? So I keep her close to me. The memories that we had, precious moments is her theme. Anytime I find something that has to do with precious moment, guess what? I end up buying it. I don't care if it's a wallpaper, if it's a birthday card. I end up getting it because that was her theme from the time she was born to the time she passed. Yeah, that will never go nowhere. So we always cherish the memories. I mean, like the back of my sweater has precious moments. Like I have figurines in a box that's precious moments. Okay, it alters relationships, meaning this loss can cause immense stress as partners often grieve at different speeds and in different ways. We won't talk about that because you know how your relationship is when you're dealing with a grieving person. Do you or do you not? Now, ultimately, the loss of a child requires both mental processing to accept the reality and immense ongoing support and self-compassion to manage the overwhelming pain. Okay? I wish, before I close this podcast out, I wish I could have a psychiatrist, a doctor be on my podcast. That way we can really engage because we have questions. I have questions. You have questions. We all have questions that we all want to know and answer to. And again, like I said, this podcast may not be for you, but guess what? I'm going to keep putting it out there because who else is doing it? Who else? Not as far as competition, but who is helping us get through this pain? Who knows us better than we know ourselves? See, that's why I didn't stick it out with psychiatric people or psychiatrists, because I remember telling one, have you ever lost a child? Did you go through the pain? Oh no, I don't have children, so you cannot relate to how I feel. You can't tell me how to feel. And she had to acknowledge that, and I just told her, I thank you, but this is not for me. And it wasn't for me. Just like my therapist at college, BCC, same thing. Have you ever dealt with losing a child? No? Okay, so how can you tell me how to feel? People need those who've been through it. People need those people. Not the ones who ain't been through it, the ones who've been through it. Yes. That's just my intake on it. But other than that, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to hit you up with some more. I don't know why I keep saying we. I'm going to hit you up with another follow-up video, probably on a different topic. But if you are able to watch that, just write it down. And if you like to be on my podcast, you know where you can find me. Because I do share these videos. I share important tips. I share advice that I've been through. Again, you may not like it. It may not be for you. Don't worry about it. It's no love lost because my voice is always going to be heard, with or without you listening. So until the next time, this is your girl Nicole with the Healing Podcast in memory of tonight's Precious Moment Foundation. I hope that you guys learned something. Please do your research. Get the help that you need. Get the resources that you need. Remember to check on your loved ones because you never know what anybody is going through. And it takes a quick second for them to not be here, okay? So again, I love you guys, and I will be following up with you real soon. All right, peace.